Hello Realtors, and welcome to your SCR update. This is your go-to source for what's happening in the world of real estate and how it impacts you and your business. This is episode 397, and today is June 29th. And as always, I'm your patriotic host, Nick Kremitis, CEO of the South Carolina Realtors. So let's start with a very happy Independence Day week to all of our Realtor members across the Palmetto State. As we fire up the grills, head to our beautiful South Carolina beaches and celebrate our nation's 250th 4th of July, it is the perfect time to remember that home ownership is the absolute heart of the American dream. Own a home, own your future. Our offices will be closed for the holiday on Friday, but we want to wish you and your family a safe, happy, and restful 4th. Thank you to all the incredible work you do every day to protect property rights and expand the freedom of housing in all of our communities. So Realtors, grab your coffee and don't forget to stick around for our Don't Do That segment today. So let's get right into it. So, are we on the road to get past the housing shortage? Congress has passed a big housing bill that's going to address a lot of the lack of construction. And as we head into the second half of the year, a new economic report was just released that is shaking up the long-held housing narrative. Now that's, for the last decade, we've talked nonstop about massive structural state and national housing shortages ranging somewhere in the 1.5 to almost 4 million homes. But a newly released paper from the Mortgage Bankers Association is telling us to look at the horizon, specifically in the future toward the year 2035. According to their data, the demographic foundations of rapid housing demand are beginning to shift. Slower population growth, reduced immigration, even lower fertility rates, and these are creating, are slowing down the creation of household formations, and that's expected to significantly decrease over the next 10 years. Now, the project reports that national housing demand will average about 1.13 million units per year. Now, meanwhile, if building paces continue to hold steady, residential construction could inject up to 14 million new units into the market over the next 10 years. Economists are warning that over the next decade, supply growth could actually outpace demand growth in several key markets, which would put us on a reversing trend, reversing the inventory deficit and putting downward pressure on home prices. So what does this all mean for us here in South Carolina? How does it rebalance our picture going forward? Well, first, as always, this is a projection. Don't expect any sudden nationwide housing glut tomorrow. That's certainly, we're far from that. But today's local affordability and inventory constraints are still very real. And the South continues to lead the country in building and trying to catch up with all of the pent-up demand that we've seen in our markets. However, it does mean that the operating environment we've navigated for years, characterized by this extreme inventory drought and runaway price appreciation, is starting to gradually change. As inventory scales up over the coming years, your value as a local data expert becomes more critical than ever, right? That's the service you provide to your members, your clients, I should say. We are moving away from a market where homes practically sell themselves and are moving into an era where strategic, tech-driven pricing, market analytics, and deep neighborhood expertise are that's what's going to carry your clients across the finish line. As always, builders could adjust and slow down in anticipation of market demands, so this is still very much a preliminary projection. So, how can you stay up to date on what is happening in South Carolina? Well, Mike, we've got a wonderful conference coming up for our members. Registration is now open for SCR's legal conference. It's the theme this year is Business Unusual, and that's going to be at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center. That's going to be in September the 15th through the 17th. Now, this legal conference is designed to help you navigate the unexpected. We'll have sessions on the legal aspects of real estate and marketing, compensation, negotiations, and more. 8 hours of CE credit from instructors like Arthur Takeall, Rhea Smith, and Jennifer Nicely. We'll have panels of real estate commissioners, South Carolina lawyers, our SCR legal team, and closing attorneys are all going to be on hand for the sharing and dissemination of great information. So brokers, don't miss the opportunity to get special pricing for your agents. You can bring up to 8 people for VIP seating, and there'll be some other really cool perks along with that. We also have an exciting opening keynote speaker, and we're not telling you who it is yet. It's a mystery, but we're going to give you a little clue to see if you can guess who it is. So here's a riddle. I teach that visibility matters more than ability today, and how realtors can thrive in a brand new way. From the new era of real estate to marketing fame, can you guess the keynote speaker we're going to name? Now, I'm not one for riddles, but I'm going to give you guys some time to think about that. We'll drop some hints over the next couple of weeks, and we'll be announcing the speaker on July 13th, so stay tuned. In the meantime, make your way over to our SCR website, screaltors.org/biz-unusual, B-I-Z, unusual, and register now. So, Mike, I think it's time for our Don't Do That segment. Thanks, Mike. I'm still not sure why I couldn't say Z there, but anyway. All right, everybody, it's time for our favorite part of the show, our compliance reality check. We like to call Don't Do That. This week, we've got a fraud warning for you straight from the legal hotline. So here it is. Realtors are reporting a sophisticated phone fraud calls that are targeting real estate licensees across the state. Scammers are spoofing official LLR numbers, calling agents out of the blue and claiming to be a, quote, LLR compliance inspector, end quote, executing a random office or escrow account audit. They tell the agent that they found an immediate violation, threaten an instant license suspension, and demand a credit card payment or digital wire over the phone to freeze the fine. Now, if you get a high-pressure call from someone claiming to represent the Real Estate Commission, demanding a payment over the phone, realtors, don't do that. Real LLR investigators and inspectors will never cold call you, and they certainly aren't going to cold call you demanding a credit card number. This sounds like those scams, Mike, of people saying that there's an arrest warrant out for you, or your car is getting ready to be repossessed, and you need to make an immediate payment. If you receive one of these scam calls, please do not give them a single dime. Hang up immediately, call the South Carolina Real Estate Commission, call the SCR hotline. We'll help you identify their identity. Make sure you use Forewarn for that purpose as well, your member safety app, and protect your hard-earned money. So, one final note before we wrap up, don't do that. Realtors, June 30th, which is tomorrow, right, Mike, is the deadline for CE for this cycle. Half of you out there have to get your CE, your 10 hours on the books by tomorrow. Don't be one of those realtors who forgets, who doesn't do it, or puts it off. Certainly don't be one of those brokers in charge that do this. And it seems to come up on the hotline every single renewal cycle. What happens as an individual licensee, you don't do your CE in time, your license gets put on inactive status. And you've got to jump through some hoops, get your education up to date and other things to get your license back active. What happens when a broker in charge gets their license put on inactive status? It shuts down the whole company. So all the agents suddenly don't have a broker in charge, can't operate until the broker in charge gets back online. So agents, brokers, don't let your license lapse because you didn't get your 10 hours in. All right, don't do that. Have we got a jingle yet, Mike? We need a jingle. We need a jingle. I am not going to give up until we get a jingle for Don't Do That. Well, realtors, as the market continues to evolve, SCR will continue to have your back with the tools, data, and legal compliance forms you need to stay ahead of the curve. I hope that all of you enjoy the fireworks this weekend. I think across the country, between drone shows and fireworks, there are going to be some amazing displays. Make sure, if you start the weekend with 10 fingers, you end the weekend with 10 fingers. We don't want any fireworks hazards or haphazards taking place. I hope you have some great food and celebrate your independent business this week. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Stay safe, and we will see you on the next SCR update. Take care, everyone.